Okay, gentlemen, we've been presented the copy of the minutes of last month's meeting, and I'm looking for a motion by Monty, second by Mr. Ronald, to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, on the president's report, I have nothing else, nothing to report right now, so we'll move on to Mr. Ronald, the executive committee.
Yeah, the executive committee met on Monday, February the 6th. Items discussed were the repayment of the loan and the status of the FEMA request for reimbursement for the hurricane damages and cleanup for the hurricane. Curol told us that 4.7 million that the district had borrowed through a bond loan, that this would be paid probably within the next, should be getting our money from FEMA, I think, within the next couple of months, and we'll be paid, and there'll be a 20% retainage which goes to the state, which amounts to $890,000, and within a couple of months after it's cleared, this will be paid to us. So the net effect is we're going to wind up costing us $100-something thousand for damages for the hurricane, which is negligible considering the damage we did extend. Moved by Keith and seconded by Roland, that the committee agreed to pay the bond company in full using the FEMA debris claim funds. Excuse me. And then some was left the district to be cost the remaining balance, which was $200,000. We reviewed the upcoming project for 2023, and then discussed, went through it thoroughly. The committee reviewed the two applicants that were received for the purpose of position of general manager. It was decided the personnel committee would review at the next committee meeting and make a recommendation at that time. There was no other discussion, the meeting was adjourned. Any questions?
We can approve that report?
But I think we need to get a vote on the approval to pay the bonds.
Okay.
I'll move to that point.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Ronald, second by Monty, that we accept Mr. Ronald's report of approving to pay the bond. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That's it, Mr. Ronald?
That's it.
Okay. Audience comments, anybody here to address the board? I see Mr. Reggie Levee and Joe.
Yep.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
All right, Joe Lafourche, Real Estate Representative, District 54, also Executive Director of Restore Retreat. Just letting y'all know that I'm interested, as Wendell knows, very interested in any projects to do shoreline stabilization, terrace buildings around the Levee District. It's a very important task for the state, the major projects, and also on the side of legislation, I got approached by Mr. Ronald Lafourche asking me to consider getting the LaRose connection named Clarence Martz Highway from LA1 to 3235. So I'm going to try to see if I can get that done in short notice as a bill. Deadline's coming up real soon to file it, but knowing that he was a member of y'all board, a pillar of our community, I think it would be a great idea to get that done.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Where's that, Joe? Where's that?
The LaRose connection between the LaRose Lift Bridge and Rouse's,
Okay.
just that section right there. So, anyway, thank y'all very much. That's all I got.
Reggie?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank y'all very much. My name is Reggie Levee. I'm running for the Greater Lafourche Board Commission, CE. I'll give you a little bit about my family. So I'm married to Holly Stevens Levee. I have two beautiful children, Braden and Evan. I'm 49 years of age, and I'm a lifelong member of the 10th Ward. My grandmother and grandfather on my father's side is the late Ebden and Azima Levee. And on my mother's side is the late Freddie and Lena Ducey. My parents, Mr. Jimmy Levee, the late Mr. Jimmy Levee, is married to Judah Levee, and also Audrey Ducey Lou, and she was married to my stepdad, the late Mr. Roy Lou. Anyway, I'm just here to kind of just tell you a little bit about myself and the background that I have in the oil field. I'm 31 years with oil and gas industry. I currently work in Port Fourchon. throughout my career, I've seen the port grow tremendously with new and even planned projects coming to the port that's going to create jobs for generations to come. I asked my constituents of the 10th Ward to allow me to be part of this growth and success. I understand that the port and the Levee District work hand in hand, and again, I want to thank you all for doing what you do to keep us safe with these protected from the levees that we have, and that's all attest to each and every one of you, so thank you. So yes, with the port growing, I mean, just last year, I managed a port in Port Fourchon. And just at my port last year, we've had a recorded right over 225,000 crane lifts and 465,000 forklifts. That's a lot of moving pieces just on one facility. That all passes through our community, the community that we love. So it's a vital part of our industry to continue growth, continue to see the highway, the elevated highway to make these trucks easier access on and off our community. And also, look, my track record speaks for itself as far as my experience. I look forward to working with all the commissioners to continue the growth in Port Fourchon. And I humbly and respectfully ask for your support on March 25th, with also early voting starting March 11th through the 18th. Again, Reggie Levee, Greater Lafourche Port Commission, CE. Thank you.
Thank you, Reggie. And if you're successful, we look forward to working with you. We have a really good working relationship with the port and those guys. So
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you being here also. Okay, anybody else? Okay, General Manager report.
Okay, Rick put together some slides from Hurricane Ida, and some of them we've seen, kind of put to look at and see differentiation. We looked at the problems of Ida south of the floodgate, south of the system, and these are the problems that took place in north of the system. Number one is the hospital where we were hiding because it's the biggest building, has the roof went off. And the wind is blowing from east to west right here. And all of a sudden rain, water started coming down the walls of the hospital at that time. All right. Yeah, these are all pictures taken. You can see the map.
Yeah, it's before.
It's before.
Can you do that? Go forward, yeah. There you go.
And again, if you look, these shots most are taken outside of the hospital shot. Again, intercoastal right here. And if you go back and you watch the route of the storm, there was a certain point when the eye is over here, and the intercoastal right here, the road is almost north-south. It's actually south, west, and northeast, but almost north-south. And you could see the storm came right, you could see the wind blowing exactly parallel with the intercoastal between the north and south banks. And these waves that you see in this again, and this again, the flooding on that north area, north of the intercoastal, Buchanan Street. Now this is north of our system, to kind of tell you how bad it would be if we had allowed the water to come in anywhere. Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends out there, said fish was stuck on the wall, on the side of the wall. American. Here's volume, there's Coastal Canal. We're looking actually southeast. Here's the corner of our levee, that's Delta Farms Road right here. Okay, that's the high rise going south. That's the one. You can't see the picture in the street.
Yeah, Chester.
And here's the coastal. This is the north side. And here's the south side. You can see storm waters just outside the front gate. These are the people that live on there, the coastal, the roads on the south side. Yeah, a little bit further south. Here, North American. Here's the our system. And this is the road on the outside of our system when you get out the gate of the Delta Farms Road. You show the three. Where's Oscar?
Yeah, like the Levee.
Okay, is this,
Just the.
is he getting video?
That's the waves.
Yeah. We had some Corps of Engineers from Jacksonville, they were really interested if there's any, know what type of waves they hit. I said, this is the perfect video. That's someone on the north side of the coastal film. Kind of amazing. It's actually going across the coastal canal.
How much room we had before we went over that wall?
It looked like it only got maybe a foot on that side, but those waves were 40 plus 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it just makes a big difference when you get there. The water that was there was what flooded the people, but we didn't see super high water on the northern part of our system with the wind blew. Okay, no, let's go forward. Let's go forward. Go forward. Again, these are some scenes that, you know, and that's what we didn't have on the inside, you know. Outside you had the wind damage and you had the flooding tied together. And it's terrible that they had to go through it. Luckily, we didn't have to make it. Now, this is at the lock. The top of that black pipe is at 16 feet. Okay, now, what I've seen, the official elevations, they show us 12 feet at the lock. But watching this thing, it's not just the wave. You see the wave going up in, but you see it slowly come up. Now, the top of that black pipe right there is 16 feet. Okay, look, the waves are raising maybe a foot at a time. It's constantly going up. It's constantly gaining elevation. I remember when we raised that, it was supposed to be 12 feet. That was already been over that 12-foot elevation that we had on the floodgate. So we can say the surge here was definitely 15 to 16 feet. As long as it is. Now watch it, it goes out right when it starts going over the pipe. Look, just about there, and then boom, the camera goes out. Look.
Channel did stop.
Is that amazing? And just for this, you know, our lot of old buildings don't hang around. This is the Griffin House, that's in Levee on the east side. Remember, you used to cross the old bridge and you see them on the right? And then my friends lived in there, okay? And I used to notice when the backyard started getting wet, you know, turned marshy. And then the front yard, and then finally they had to move out, and then I forget which storm, just took the house completely away. And that's a story of Levee, you know, the buildings, the old buildings just don't stay old for long, they're gone.
Oh, that was it, oh, you said that was it.
No, just that was, which of it, and you removed the previous.
Yeah, the previews.
Now, there's a door that's going on, we continue to work, this is, near Falls Farm, this is the ramp that goes over, we're at 18 feet south of here, we take it down to 16, and when you get just on the inside of this ramp, we're down to 13, but we built it to 13 and a half, I doubt it will ever be there for another 10 years, I have to go back and raise it again. That's how good with Morgana coming across, and what we saw with this storm, the work we do here, like I say, I think it'll be 10 years, at least 10 years before we ever have to go back to raise anything over there, which is a good deal. And again, we're raising just the crown, this is the outside, here's the form, and we're raising it to 16 elevation. We've got this compacted for the past 15 years, and the grass looks in good shape. Now, looking down. And this is north of the ramp that you just looked at. We'll bring this up to 13 and a half. And again, once we get this done, I don't see us having to do anything there for years. We can concentrate more on the south, which is where we have the risk. We had a bunch of debris. Now this is Paul's levee, and that's Morgan's levee that they just built. And there was a ton of debris on the outside that's been there since the storm. Evidently, now they're working back there, making that section L to attach that corner to Grand Bayou. Somebody, I don't think it was on purpose, but somebody threw a match or a cigarette or something. And that thing burnt from, I know, I was at my house on a Sunday afternoon and I noticed it was, smelling the smoke. I thought it might have been the parish has their dump on the east, the west side of there. But it was this, and it burnt for what, about 3 days, 4 days?
4 days and nights.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
And again, that's the levee getting closer, that's Paul's Form right here. And then I'm on our levee, and here's the section L levee, the Paul's levee. And here's our levee, and you can see it, that's one advantage, our berm went under the water. I showed you last meeting. Well, they didn't let the fire come across, and none of our levee grass burned. But this is part of the levee that the Morganza levee, the section L levee. Still had some places burning, like I said, yeah, they burned for about 4 days. But then that's a project, and I've been talking to Neil, he's gonna come up with some estimates on how we can get that filled back up, but of course, at the end of that fire kind of hit to us. You can see where it burned. Now we're on our levee, I'm looking west right here. And let's see south, now this is, GIS is finishing up that work, they've been working there a long time, we can raise the levee to 18 feet. That's really impressive. We think we're good for a long time there also. They're just finishing up. And then, of course, we have the area behind the shooting range that we have not worked. And I don't want to tell, there's about a 4-foot differential from here. And there's a stop, and when we cross, we call, let them know that we're coming. They'll stop the shooting while we cross from one side to the other. Here you can see that drop off, about a 4-foot drop off. And here's the other side, 4-foot different elevation.
What is that distance between the two summits?
What do you think, Neil?
I think
Couple hundred feet?
it's probably about 400 feet.
400 feet.
Yeah.
And we did a study, we found the bullets that are concentrated in that area. I mean, it's, you know, some people say, well, you know, a lot of people shoot and bullets go in the levee, but you can see that there's a ton of them in that area. And this is the outside. Again, you know, when I was a kid, you go over the little 40 open canal and you go in the little levee, it was 3 to 4 feet, you saw marsh on the other side. And that area, it's kind of, you know, the broken marsh now gets completely taken out. A lot of that marsh got pushed over here, but one good thing is that you know, most of it has sunk, you know, just what, 2 years since the storm. But if this can grow marsh, that's good. That gives us a little cushion between there and where our levee is over here, the toe of our levee. And we'll see what it does. But when it's really good, we got this up to 18 feet. That's pump station number 2. And it's nice to see it without holes through and through it. The repair work has been going on. We do, this is south of the Basin pump. And again, getting this levee up to 16 feet and maintaining it. Yeah, I just picked up some of the marsh grass. You know what it looks like, but I mean, when you look at this, it's almost all organic. When you let it oxidize, you end up with a little bit of dust in your palm from a piece of looks like you've got some soil in there. But marsh grass is, you know, that's why you keep it in the water. It's that strong, it takes space, and it does something. You get it up and dry long enough, and it turns to nothing. But again, we keep working on getting that levee to 16 feet. You're not letting the ball come out. Bring it here, let it dry a little bit, and you move it up top of the levee. The terraces down, remember that storm hit these terraces. The older terraces, you can see where they planted the grass, and then you had just the natural grasses grow in between. They went, that storm water went over it, they survived it, but the terraces that had not grown out fully, they were damaged. A lot did survive, but they had some damage on it. But this worked out really well. Doug and them did a great job. And then that last little job where they did the marsh platform. And that marsh platform is a little bit north of, behind the parking golden down. And, see, right here's a good shot. That's why they put the containment. So they went in Catfish Lake and pumped in here. Now you had broken marsh between the containment and the edge of our levee. But once you start putting some stuff in and it starts growing, I'm guessing the rhizomes or the root system grow horizontally, that they raise the bottom a little bit enough and start growing that they actually close what was broken marsh between where they actually pumped the stuff and where they didn't. And we see that everywhere. Wherever you build the marsh, it actually grows a little bit more than where you actually put the sediments down. But they did a great job. Before they did this job, you would have been 40% marsh and 60% of more open water. And then our contractor last time left a little bit of dirt on the edge, so we stopped piling this. We don't need it. The levee's up to 18. But in the future, we have low areas that subside. We can, without spending a lot of money, we'll get that dirt and put it on top of the levee. So we have some stockpiles along the levee where our contractor didn't do it. The parish went ahead and paved the top of, this is the boat launch of the pump station number 1, near the parking lot with that. And it's up to 20 feet, which is, when you have things crossing the levee, it's better to have them a little bit higher than your levee around there. But they did a great job. So like the old people, we had it paved. Had some people call and ask for how do they get, if you lived over here, how do you get off and on the bridge over there, or how do you get on? And it's a little complicated. Joe told me about it, but I didn't totally understand. I got this, and it's still a little complicated, but you know, it's good to get this out so people can have an idea what you know. Yeah. People want, you know, if you stayed on the 4-lane, no big problem. Okay, you can go back and forth. But the people here, it's a little convoluted. You have to go up LA 1 and down one of the streets just south of Golden Valley. Here to get in. But again, this 21-foot elevation bridge goes down to 3235, and 3235 in front of the park is 2.4 feet below sea level. And that all works because as long as we keep the the levee's high enough, it makes the road work. Talking about how Fort Fourchon and the levee district need to continue working together with, Casablanca, a beautiful relationship. The other thing, the bridge is made of concrete. So all this metal stuff, this is just there so the crane can go back and forth and do the work and do the building. None of the metal is gonna stay here. The bridge is a concrete bridge. So you see how the building is. What's that?
That's their jig.
Yeah. See, they gotta build the bridge from here up, and then once they add it up there, all the steel's coming out. And this is where they cross in the levee. They're gonna have a T-wall. They've gotten this almost finished driven, then they're gonna have some be battered, the other piles. Then they'll get a cement slab, and then put an eye wall on top of the T-wall that they built here. And it's gonna be up to 20 feet. This is up to 18, so it's not gonna be sticking very much above where the levee is. And the road won't be very much above.
How far is that about?
Probably 100 feet. Yeah, it's gonna go a little bit on either side of both lanes, yeah. And then, we had some hogs went, and by the time I went to take a look at it, where the hogs dug the hole, the leg actually slid over it. It looked like a slide, and so I talked to Greg, he said, no, that's why they had the hogs had dug out the dirt and they just collapsed down. We went back, we repaired it, and they have some hog traps out there, so people are trying to get rid of them. But that's why we ride the levees a lot. You know, we can get contractors to cut the grass. So when you have the employees, every time they cut the grass, they look at every square inch of the levee. And things happen, so you got to just kind of keep an eye on things. But, yeah, that was all created by the hog. Yeah. Boucherie, so you're not split. This is the work this is right in the southern part of the loop area, the Island property, and just where Schwess's Farm starts. We had a lot of water, a lot of wave action over top of levee in that area, so we went back to work on it, and we're going to be filling up that whole area and bringing it to, I think is it Joe, 16 and a half?
Yes.
And this is an old pit that we did on before, but when you get hurricanes, they actually bring sediment in. So this old pit, which was dug a lot deeper than this, so that material was there and available, and a contractor went in and he re-levied the area, pumped it out, and he's digging this stuff out, we're throwing it up. That one contractor let it dry a bit, and we'll get another contractor in to shape it and sell it. They're going to throw it on the levee for the excess, and it'll be trucked around the other areas. Yeah, it's a pretty good clip. Yeah, clear with the high organic there. And this is the East Fork goes outside the levee. And this is it inside the levee. You already talked about levees, tearing apart the environment, but where you have a subsiding delta and subsiding ridge, and you keep it inside of a levee system where the rainfall keeps it going, it's a lot healthier than the ridge is subsiding on the outside. And Joe, that's one thing we can always try to do is start concentrating on these ridges. That's good material for hundreds of feet on either side. We can work at keeping those ridges going a little bit better if we would concentrate on that. We tend to go to open water instead of going where we have some good material that's eventually going to go under, that we can actually keep above it and have some advantages with it. And that's all those ridges along where loop is. You have the Monte Gorge Ridge and the Valle Raphael Ridge. This is a stockpile material that we dug from. This is another pit that we had from the Islands dug here, and we're going to use that dirt to fill in this ramp. That's the loop road, the ramp that goes over our levee system. And let's see if I can pull some. Yeah, we left these here so we connected them when the storms come. When the hurricane, we put our ESCO baskets across, And the water level got about here, it got up about a foot up on the escalator. We would have water flowing through there, had we not put them in. This ramp that we're gonna do is gonna get the elevation as high as the levee there. And then working, our guys keep developing new things. This is that pump station number 6 behind South Lafourche. And used to have lights on the buildings, but at night, the machine would kind of make a shadow you couldn't see down in the pit real good. So they set up these cameras here. And so now they can see a lot better when they can take the weeds out, the vegetation. The cameras here. And our guy, oh, I'm sorry, the lights, yeah, sorry. And our guys developed this race, you know, it fits perfectly. Was that, I want to be sure they work. But, yeah, and we made it better still, and now we've been able to stay ahead of the spray, that now it's a rare situation where we have to pull the levers out. So we have more efficient flow, and we have less guys being able to run more pump stations. And they came up with this design. And that's all I have. Any questions? Okay, and I want to report, we're looking at getting back on the core rehabilitation program. And so the beginning, our goal of that is bringing it in, they call it a cadre from Jacksonville that specializes in maintenance of levee systems. So 3 of them came, and Joe assisted me, and we rode the levee for a couple of days with them. And I think all in all, they actually had good questions, and their logic was pretty close to the way we decide how we do things. So that was kind of good. We had some guys from the Yorland's office, and again had good discussions on possibilities. We're hoping that they're going to accept it without us having to spend a lot of money to get to the level that they want. We've shown that our levees work, but still, you look at that risk rating 2.0 review insurance thing, it rates our levee as the worst levee in Louisiana. Even after it handled the 5th most intense storm to hit the United States. It's a real problem, but we built it and it's done a good job, and hopefully they can help prove that it's good, but we'll have to see. Mary has suggested that we have, this is enhanced computer and server protection. Spoke to Keith and he agreed that we do that, so we're spending an extra $269 to maintain our computer system. And just for taking care of it and for security. Any questions? Okay. The rules of law. CPRE has got an agreement put together which will help provide $5 million for the lock. I'd like to be able to go ahead and approve that agreement.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of our general manager to approve the agreement between the South Levee District and CPRA. Moved by Mac, second by Roland Curol. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay. And Section F berm, we worked with Neil and figured we could take care of the berm and not spend all that money allocated, and we needed more money for the project at Cloverleaf. And so we felt we could do it at $700. So I'd like for you all to approve the Section F berm transfer of money to Section E North. If y'all could take that approval.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the recommendation of our general manager to reallocate some funds from Section F berm to B North. Moved by Mr. Ronald, second by Brett. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just to be safe, because CPRA has a lot of different agreements, agreed to accept money from a couple of other sources for E-Nord, one that we did amendment number 4 to an agreement, so we need to approve that.
And we'll accept money from anybody who wants to give it.
That's right.
Heard the recommendation of our
We're
general
real
manager.
cooperative with that.
I'm sorry?
We're real cooperative.
Yes. Heard the recommendation of our general manager to accept the funds with CPRA. Moved by Roland Curol, second by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
You find in your packet, we get a letter once a year from the Corps of Engineers saying how much the cost share is. And if, they've never, the last time they did an audit was like 2012, and they said they'd start doing it every year because it took so much trouble. Well, they haven't done it. And we like to let sleeping dogs lie. We're right at about 30% of the cost, like the agreement says. So I just wanted y'all to take a look at it and be aware of it. They haven't come and said do it, and they haven't done it. So we just keep moving along and building the levee, assuming we have a 30% cost share. Because that's a good thing. And then I showed you all the part of the mitigation levee, and again, it burned itself out with no real problems for us. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Engineering report, CPRA, Daniel, you have anything?
Just to follow up, on some of the stuff Wendell shared there, the agreement, the Little Rose Law, also the two amendments he just referenced for, I guess that was for F-Berm and E-North. It is a formality, they're being routed for signatures and CPRA to send to you guys. There's also several plan reviews for some of your projects. I have here, these are in the E&D division for CPRA battery. Closing out comments for E-North and F-Berm, so that's good. And also have the Little Rose Lock and the vessel impact barriers being reviewed as well. So that's it.
Appreciate it, Dan. Corps of Engineers, project engineer, Chris Hill and Associates, Joe.
Yes, on the Rose Lock, we've had some discussions with the Corps, and they basically finished their review of our design. The only problem we have right now is we wanted to put our new control house on top of the old control house, the existing floodgate. So we're currently working to remove that and place it independently on its own. And we'll design that and resubmit it for them for approval, and then hopefully by then we'll have a permit. We've also been working with the parish for the grants for the funding and whatnot, also providing them information. On E-North levee improvements, that's from the corner by the Clover Lake Boat Launch down south to the south corner. We've submitted all of our plans and specs to CPRA for approval. We are working on geotechnical work now. The plan is to have a borrow pit haul-in project to go to bid within the next month or two, depending on CPRA approval. Hurricane Ida storm damage to the pump stations. Grand Isle Shipyard is a contractor. They've completed all the structural metalwork, and we're working on them to complete the electrical components on the different pump stations in the lofts. There's no pay application this month for this project. And on Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the main office, Grand Isle Shipyard is a contractor. So they've done some work finishing the demolition. They're currently working on, or getting ready to start working on the exterior siding in the building. They have been working the last couple of weeks on roughing in the electrical work in anticipation of hanging sheetrock on the inside. They have all the new windows are installed.
Andrew, you said possibly by May?
And they're still scheduled to complete sometime in May. We do have pay application number 2 in the amount of $30,841.88, and we do recommend.
Okay, gentlemen, we heard the recommendation of our engineer to pay GIS for repairs to our main office, $30,841.88. Moved by Mitch, second by Monty. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
Yes, on the Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the mechanic shop, Frisco Industrial is the contractor. They're complete with this project. We do have a substantial completion presented for your approval. They do have some small punch list items to complete, but we're monitoring that. There is no pay application this month, so all we're asking you to do is approve the certificate of substantial completion.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the engineer to accept the completion, report as, let's see, I'm lost. From Frisco, okay? Moved by Mac, second by Mr. Ronald, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
Yes, on D North Levee project, Wendell showed you some pictures of that project. Outer Limit Contractors is the contractor. The project is complete. So he's submitted pay application number 2 in the amount of $218,444.85, and we do recommend you pay that.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineers to pay Outer Limit Construction, pay application number 2 in the amount of $218,444.85. Moved by Mr. Ronald, second by Roland Curall. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
And we also have change order number 1 for the balancing of final contract quantities. We had an overrun of $18,972. It's material that he dug, so we recommend you pay.
Heard the recommendation of engineer for change order number 1, in the balance of $18,972. Moved by Matt, second by Mitch. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
We also have the certificate of substantial completion, which we recommend you approve.
Hey, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to accept the certificate of substantial completion on this project. Moved by Monty, second by Brian. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Nothing else?
That's it.
Thank you, Joe. GIS engineering, John.
John Plaisance of GIS Engineering. The first project is the East Bayou Lafourche Water Retention Project. We are still working with DNR on getting that permit for y'all. On occasion, we talked to Ryan about the servitudes as well that we're going to need on that project. Hopefully, we can be ready to advertise for construction sometime later this year. The DNR ramp.
We have this slide up here. We've got this project here, we also have the berm that's low over here, that have some erosion issues. And we're also looking at the 2 levee segments on the east side and the west side. Now, we're really thinking about, we need to go back and really make sure we have, all of it's at least 18 feet high, you know. So I just want to let you know, we're working on, we may be able to work on the 3 projects over here at the same time. It might work together, it might not, but I just want to make you all aware that we have a lot of issues that we're trying to get taken care of, and that's fine. Okay, thanks, John.
Moving on to the D North ramp project, that is the ramp at Loop that Wendell had mentioned earlier. We issued the notice of proceed starting today. The contractor is out there clearing and grubbing. There is a fiber optic line that Red will have to move that is actually owned by Loop. But that should not cause any delays. That should be a 4-month project to be ending in June.
Who's the contractor?
LA Contract and Enterprise.
So you said by June?
June. And then the reconnection of Breton Canal to Bayou Lafourche in preparation to put some siphons up there. As y'all may recall, last month y'all rejected all the bids we took back in November because they were high. But now we're working with Drake. He is and his staff is going to do the clearing and grubbing and some of the major excavation out of the way. And once he has finished that later this spring or summer, we'll go ahead and rebid for the actual siphon work itself.
So that's what we have, that was siphon going through.
We're gonna put some siphons over that little levee right there.
What's all
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
That's right.
High school right here.
Right by South Lafourche High School.
I don't know.
And we'll probably have to do some extensive digging from the intersection with the bayou till almost to the stadium. To make sure you have enough flow. Of course, all of those pipes are 40-inch pipes, 2 of them, and we need to make sure that it stays in the channel. So we're gonna have to kind of watch out how we get it done. The other thing is different too. Our siphons that we have in the canal we got the siphon coming in, and we got the pump station right there, so water comes in, but the two siphons, it takes 3 of the pumps to get that water out. Here, we got our pump station way over here, and the water siphons are over here. So we're gonna have to watch, probably draw up some plans on how, when we initiate it, I'm thinking we probably put a lot of the pumps on at number 6 and bring down the water to the whole area. And then we're able to get the siphons going. So it's gonna be a little bit of a different operation because if you don't have that direct flow from the intake to the pump. But we'll figure out how to make it work right and make sure we don't cause any problems to anybody. But this is again gonna help traffic. Right now, with the siphons we have, we can, in 24 hours, we can move the level of the bayou 0.2 of a foot. Doesn't sound like much, but it's enough to get some gates open and get some traffic. With these siphons in, all of a sudden we're going 0.4 of a foot. We got some real control, and once we get that lock in place, I don't think we're ever gonna slow traffic down again. I mean, we're gonna have total control of the bayou.
So that's gonna give us a much better water flow from the bayou to the pumps.
Well, yeah, but this is, it's like, again, we're gonna have to watch it, make sure we dig the canal right, and have our operation procedures, but I know we can do it in a way that's gonna be just a benefit and not a problem. And if there's heavy rainfall, sometimes those 80 won't run it. You know, if we can't, what I see us doing is a 20-open canal. We're gonna have a level, we're probably gonna set right here and see if the water's above this level, we don't run the siphons. And the water gets below that level, we can run the siphons, not have a problem with anything on it. So we'll make some regulations that will make it work.
We're working with the allies, the property owner of the canal itself, in putting together that package. But again, as I tell Wendell, as somebody who lives right there, I'm very concerned about what happens in the 20-Arctic Canal as well. So we're working on that. And one thing is DOTD is talking about coming and replacing that bridge at some point in the next 5 to 10 years. So we're working with them on how that'll work out, whether they'll put culverts in or they'll just put an embankment in, and we'll just extend the siphons out all the way to Lafourche.
In fact, both the Clovelly Canal Bridge and the Breton Canal. But I'm thinking, because of subsidence we have all over coastal Louisiana, I think the highway department needs to rethink how they build the roads and put the drainage to the waterway. The waterway now are causing more flooding than I think that's draining out. I think it's a problem coastwide, and it would be good always to rethink and at least ask the question: does it make sense to have drainage going into the bayou anywhere along South Louisiana? Because again, now it's been more of a problem, and it's just simpler to drive all your drainage to the back area where the lowland is, than to try to drain in the front when the water comes up half of the time. It's something maybe the highway department might want to look at as just a concept. Ask that question at least before you go with the old way of doing it.
Yeah, I think it's all that.
Okay, thank you, John. Any questions?
My last slide.
Is that good?
That's just the blow up of the area itself.
We're good. Okay. Angelette. Neil?
Yeah, on the section Seaside levee reshaping, that contract around our shipyard is continuing. They're raising that levee up to plus 18. That goes from the Basalt pump station number 2, all the way north to the beginning of Apache Farm. Right now, work is still progressing well, and we think it's going to be complete in the next couple of months. On the Sea North levee improvements, this is north of the Dufresne Bridge going all the way to Highway 24. That contract is Compo and Sons. They're continuing to work along with some levee district efforts to raise that levee up to 13.5. We're recommending approval of their pay request number 1111 in the amount of $40,145.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to pay Compo and Sons invoice number 1111 in the amount of $40,145. Moved by Matt, second by Brett. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
And that project should be completed in the next 2 to 3 months. On the seaside flood side repairs, all the clearing on the flood side is complete. And right now, we're working on our final recommendations for the fill phase of the project. We're looking at two different options. One is gonna be to get material from the adjacent Borough Canal, which is gonna involve moving material across the levee. The other option we're looking at is a potential borrow pit somewhere on the north side of all the work.
Now, if we get it from the borough pit, we'll probably have to maybe knock off some of the crown and put a little ramp to get.
Right, we'll have to create a few crossings temporarily to get trucks
Just,
across.
we haven't asked any questions, we're only gonna do it in the time of the year when we don't need the full levy. And when we build it back, it's gonna be at least as good as it was before.
Right.
Yeah, but this is the area on the outside that berm is completely underwater.
The next project is the Yankee Canal and Section 8 East erosion repairs. If you recall, Granite Shipyard had started construction on that project. That was going to be to add riprap along the toe of the Yankee Canal levee on the south side of the levee. We did have some issues with the low water levels in the Mississippi River for the last 4 or 5 months. It seems like things are getting better. Granite Shipyard is starting to get material back in their yard for this project. So I think in the next couple of weeks, we're going to see work resume out here. It should be done in the next 2 months once they can get started.
What is the estimate on that, Neil?
I think the total for that project was about 1.2 million total. And we've already paid probably a fourth of that work that started. On the LaRose flood wall vessel impact barrier, we've received all the permits for this project to create some timber clusters on the outside of the wall. Right now, the plans and specifications are being reviewed with CPRA for funding. I did hear back from James with CPRA this morning. He said his plan is to try and get the green light by the end of the week on that.
Is that a Chinese move? Could be.
And the last project is the Section F berm improvements. Those plans and specifications are currently being reviewed by CPRA. I think part of the funding of this project was pending the revised funding agreement that the board approved earlier this meeting. So I'm expecting approval from CPRA any day now on that. And that's all I have.
Question, Neil, on that South, you have two contractors that will be working on that?
On the seaside flood side repairs, so that the first phase, we had 2 contractors on there. There was Granite Shipyard and Compo and Sons. One started on the north and one on the south and worked their way towards the middle. The second phase, once we finalize our plans, we're going to go out and get some quotes on that. So I'm not sure who the contract is going to be.
Any questions for Neil? All right, then Delta Coast.
They're not here also, and so forth, we said those ones.
Okay, and then also.
Yeah, also. Stevie couldn't make it, but again, this is here's the park at Golden Meadow over here, here's where it goes from behind the park to the 40-acre line. And we're looking at trying to reestablish this oil bank, and if we can get it high enough and big enough to be more than a terrace and maybe grow trees, that would be nice. Do some marsh work in here, and then maybe recreate this different areas. We're working with the parish also. They're looking for a grant, and that's where it stands right now. We're looking for grant money to get this done. It's a good benefit for us to be able to block some of that water from hitting into this corner and get real closer back to Golden Meadow. But also environmentally, it's a great place to catch fish anyway, and we get more marsh in there, and I think we could even turn it in. We call it, I call it a wet port, and it'd be great for field roads and for kayaks. We still have to go on for the bigger boats to go on the fish or catfish lake, and then we could even look. Maybe you're getting a fence about 20 feet away from the water line, and maybe let people walk across. If the landowner gives us the right to do that, and let people walk along and fish, picnic, and do other things, make it a real attractive thing for the town to work out. And again, some terraces that I know they're working on also.
That's it for Stevens. Okay, moving on, legal permits and right of way.
Yeah, we got 4 this month. Lafourche Parish Government, Apache Louisiana Mineral LLC, Lafourche Parish Government again, and then South Lafourche Levee District. After reviewing these four, looking the board to approve these four permits.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of committee chairman to accept these right-of-way permits. Moved by Monty, second by Mr. Rowland, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. The board attorney, anything, nothing to report? Finance committee, Monty?
Okay, Mr. President, the Finance Committee reviewed all invoices and recommend they be paid as presented.
Okay, motion of the finance committee chairman to accept and pay all invoices, and need a second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Personnel committee.
Okay, Personnel Committee met and we reviewed some changes Mary gave us for the policy and Personnel Policy and Procedure Manual. It was provided as a summary of the reviews in your packet, and the committee looked at everything. Everything seems fine, so we tell the board to recommend the changes be made.
Okay. Motion by our committee chairman to accept personnel policy and procedure updates. Motion by Brett, second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and there's one other thing, vacant position, general manager, we put out ads for that position. We had 2 applicants that applied. We will be doing interviews on the 24th. The whole committee is going to be on the interview, and then we'll get back to the board and with a recommendation.
Anything else for Monty? All right, any old business? Any old business? Any new business? No need for executive session. I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Moved by Monty, second by Mr. Ronald, that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.